Hey guys, this is Anastasia, and yes, this is another car session because I made it to work early today, so I thought, why not? Might as well get a video in. This video is for the YTPaganchallenge. Challenge. The subject for this video is, do you believe in angels, fairies, and demons? I'm going to kind of start with angels simply because I have the least amount to say about them. I believe in angelic energy. I have worked with it previously. I have felt it to some degree. I believe I've actually seen it. It's one of the few things that I had an experience that I can't take away that experience because it was real. It was something. I don't necessarily know what it was per se, but what I believe, at least as of today, is it was angelic energy. I was crafting a earthen witchy orb for Eric Silvermoon and Crystal Starshine, their ritual that they did as witches of the Four Quarters for healing for the earth. And they were working with the Archangel Ariel, the female version of Uriel. And I crafted this earthen witchy orb, and I was really trying, because I couldn't go to the ritual, so I really wanted to craft something to send energy towards that, because I loved the idea. And it still stands as one of my most connected and unexplainable things I've ever experienced. And I wasn't working with a god or goddess. The gods and goddesses are always there, but I was specifically calling out to this archangel, and I felt her. And I don't know if necessarily she was or is or what have you an angel, or if it's some other version of Fae, but whoever it was that answered me is not an energy I have ever worked with before or since. So I do believe in angelic energy. I don't know that I believe in angels as they are traditionally seen. It's a real nebulous area, as is demons. I've never had an experience that I'm able to look at and solely say this was demonic. Do I believe in demonic energies? Yes, I believe so. I don't know. Again, kind of like angels, I don't know that it's the traditional way people look at it. I believe... I guess the best way to answer that is I believe in true positivity and I believe in true negativity. And I believe there are agents for true positivity and there are agents for true negativity. And if you want to call the positive side angels and the negative side demons, that's one way of looking at it. I do think when working in the realm of demons, I think if there is something truly negative in your home, and it wants to feed off more negativity, because negativity feeds negativity, what is the easiest thing to do? Get you mad, get you scared, get there to be fighting and disagreements within the home. What's the best way of doing that? Well, in mainstream America at least, the major religious belief and faith practiced is some form of Christianity. So, if I want to scare someone, chances are writing 666 all over and the upside down pentacle and horned god insignia and the upside down crucifix, even though in actual Christian historical Christian fact, it actually was, I believe it was St. Peter was crucified on the upside down cross because he didn't believe himself, quote unquote, good enough or pure enough to be crucified on the cross the way that Christ was crucified. So it actually was a religious symbol in a positive way, so to speak, I guess, and now it's seen as anti-religious. But again, I think if there is something negative and it wants to feed, it's going to scare. It is going to cause rifts. And the best way of doing that is to feed off of people's fears. And even me, who doesn't know that she believes truly in what it makes up a demon in traditional belief structure, demonic energies terrify me. They do. I've seen enough and heard enough cases of demonic possession to know there's something. I don't know that there are demons the way Christians see demons, because according to Christian faith, my God is the devil. And no. I've worked with Lilith as a goddess, and I know her to not, she is terrifying at times, but I know her not to be demonic. There's a difference between dark and evil. And I think a lot of times, or dark and negative, I guess is probably a better way of phrasing it. And I think a lot of times that difference gets blurred. And so we get the word demon when really it's negativity. What I don't know about angels, because I have had an experience with angelic energy and it hasn't been anything I've ever experienced. But what I tend to believe more about demons is what we see as demons in popular culture or what have you, is either angry spirits, but otherwise demons are oftentimes called inhuman spirits. So they are spirits that were never human. They never walked the earth in human form. Well, what is that? It sounds to me like a fey creature of some sort, or a fey spirit or energy of some sort, which leads me to fairies. I do believe in fairies. I do believe in, probably a more broader term, I believe in the good folk. I believe in the fae. I do believe in Tinkerbell, in a way. I do believe pixies exist. I believe there are garden fae, and they can be bright and positive beings, but they can also be very mischievous, and sometimes what they find as mischievous is kind of negative to us. They can cause strife, they can cause pain, and I don't think it works the same for them. I think they see it as, I'm trying to lighten you up, chick, because everything's so damn serious, so I'm going to cause all these difficulties to try to get, because I think it's kind of funny to see you stumble, and maybe then you'll see that, hey, my life isn't so bad. I've had those experiences, and I have identified it kind of, sometimes it's just my own stupidity, but sometimes I do think it's, the honored folk playing tricks on me, and those tricks are sometimes mean-spirited, because I think it's all about perspective. What's mean for one person could be hilarious for another, and I think there's a bit of a danger when working with the fae that people sometimes take a little too much in. I think it's safe to err on the side of caution, but I would never say, for example, when I craft, I will say, I'm now adapting it to Cernunnos and Hell, because they are my lord and my lady. But when I began my practice, I would say Lord, Lady, Spirits. When I first started, it was Lord, Lady, Spirits, and Elements, good folk alike. lend to me your love and your light, or aid me on this with your love and your light. And then I'll go into specifics on what my intent is and what I'm needing to have done. I look at this as not only asking these beings, these energies for aid, but also it helps me focus on what I'm doing and what my intents are. But the good folk I include in this. I do this as a way of honoring. I do this as a way of acknowledging that there are positive Fae energies. And I want those to be included in my workings. I want that connection to the other realms included. With that said, I think fairies or fae or good folk, however you identify them, are truly of nature. I see them as neither light nor dark, neither positive nor negative, but a combination, because nature is in and of itself both light and dark and positive and negative. There are some beings, I think, that are darker than others. I think there are some beings that are lighter than others. But you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what the intent always is there. So to err on the side of caution, I think, is right. But I found a great documentary on YouTube about fairy faith. And there was one woman in Ireland, I believe it was Ireland, it may have been Scotland, I could be wrong, I can't remember which. But they were talking to her and she said, oh yeah, the good folk. No, we acknowledge them, we know they're there, but I would never call them fairies, because the fae, which is what I'm talking about, at least when I'm talking about fairies, is this big, broad spectrum. You have pixies, you have these kind of ethereal beings, but then you also have trolls, and you have gnomes, and you have goblins, and you have banshees. The she in I think that's Irish and Celtic, they were called she, so banshee. They all are a form of fae. The Morrigan is a fae queen in some stories, and you know, I don't see her as this evil presence, because that's just not right. But I do see her as a goddess that you don't fuck with. Excuse my language, but it's the truth. And really, any god or goddess, you don't want to fuck with them. And that's originally what fairies kind of were. They were these Celtic gods and goddesses that were forced underground. And that's where you get some of the concepts behind the hollowed hills. Not only did the Celtic people bury their dead in these hills, in these mounds, but fairy mounds are believed to be where fairies were, where these gods and goddesses were forced underground, and these fairy stories came out. The god Lu, for example, the bright one, the masterful one, he is reduced to a leprechaun. Well, he's a pretty positive god, and I'm still pretty sure if he found out people were imagining him as this little green man, he'd be kind of irritated. So I'm running out of time here. There's so much more I want to talk about when I'm dealing with the Fae, because there's so much to discuss. The thing I'll leave you with when talking about fairies, the Fae, the good folk, what have you, is they are true children of nature. They are the guardians of nature. They are earth and water. They are air. They are fire. They are the elements. If they see us, which is this race that, yes, helps the earth, but ultimately hurts the earth, they're not going to want to approach us in this happy-go-lucky, positive manner unless they see that that is warranted. So whenever working with the Fae, a certain amount of caution is good, but I think ultimately it's something that you have to discover for yourself. I guess that's kind of where I'm going with it. So that's my answer for this YouTube Pagan Challenge. Blessed be.